All right, we've got a big week next week. The Bitcoin 2025 conference in Las Vegas, May 27th, 29th. Exciting time ahead. This should be a great event. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share, I'll be in attendance, so I'm going to share the sessions that caught my attention, and I'm going to walk you through kind of the topics that are of interest to me, and also some of the speakers, because sometimes I just chose a session. The title didn't catch my attention, but the speaker did. So some of the value in this is going to be, many of these names might be familiar to you, but you might pick up on a few that would be good people to follow, whether on X, on YouTube, social media, whatever it is. Could be some great resources there. And I'll also be putting out a video during the conference as well. But this is what I want to do. I want to dive in, take a look at what you can expect. Now, here's the thing. If you're attending, this is going to be a ton of value. Might help you get more organized. They just put out the full agenda. The other way that this can help you is even if you're not attending, a lot of these sessions will be recorded, and there's a ton of them, right? So this might be able to help you create a short list of sessions that you want to watch when they become available, right? Or just some of the topics or speakers in general could spark an interest as well. So I want to make sure this is valuable not just to the people attending, but also to the people who are not going to be in attendance and maybe watching remotely or check out some of those recorded videos. So I will be there. I think there's a way to like connect through the app or something. So if you want to say hi and meet up, let me know. But let's dive in here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the this here. So if you just go to Bitcoin conference, whatever, you can see it up there. I'll put a link to all these as well. Here's some of the keynote speakers. Got some big names, really cool lineup here. The 30,000 Bitcoiners, 400 plus speakers. This is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of speakers, so I'm going to help you manage that list. At least what's caught my attention, right? Might not catch yours, but what caught mine. So really cool. So we got a rock star list this year. So JD Vance, Vice President, will be there. Ross Albright, who we know from Silk Road. This will be, I think, one of his first speaking engagements, or I should probably say the biggest stage since he's been released, so to speak. Michael Saylor, right? The OG, or I shouldn't say OG, I should say more like the Godfather, evangelist for Bitcoin education at a very high level. Cynthia Loomis, U.S. Senate Senator, probably the most outspoken senator on the topic of Bitcoin, which is really cool. And you can read these, right? David Sachs, Bo Hines, young kid, sharp kid, President's Council Advisor to Crypto. Interesting stuff. You got the Robinhood guy, Adam Beck, probably one of the oldest OGs there is in the game. He'll be there. Love Jack Mallers from Strike, always engaging speaker. And Paolo, I've heard him give some presentations. He's surprisingly engaging because he's got a laid-back personality, but he's really good. And again, Tether, I put a video out on this just recently. Most profitable company by headcount in history. Pretty interesting. And you can hit view all. You can view the rest of these, right? There you go. You can see. I'm just going to scroll down real quick. There's a ton of people here, right? A lot of really great speakers. So if you do want to attend, you can still get tickets. That's cool. Now, here's the exciting thing. So the Bitcoin Sports Network, awesome group. They put on events for Bitcoin conferences and Bitcoin events. So what they're doing is they're putting together the second annual Samara Bitcoin Golf Championship. It is May 26th, so it's Memorial Day in Vegas. How cool is this? Bali High, literally on the strip. I think it's the only golf course directly on the strip, and you can see here. You got the what is that? MGM. That's not MGM. You've got some of the backdrop is literally the Vegas Strip, which is really cool. So just to put this into perspective, so Chris, who puts this together, he reached out. Actually, we're gonna be. I don't ever talk about this, just because I just keep this as Bitcoin education. But I actually am the founder of HODL 21. Right there, HODL 21. It is a first ever, the first Bitcoin inspired golf brand. I love golf, I love Bitcoin. I combine the two. I've got products out there. I'll show you a little bit more about that. Anyways, we're sponsoring that. We'll be out there. We'll have a booth. We'll be selling Bitcoin golf gear if you get any interest in that. But really, the cool part, Max and Stacy, many of you know them, big proponents for El Salvador. They'll be there. I'm almost 100% positive they'll be in attendance. They'll be in the golf audience. You can see here some really cool stuff. You can see this guy was one of the last year's winners. That's some of the Bitcoin golf gear that he's rocking, the HODL 21 golf gear. Really, really exciting time. So we'll be there. And the thing is, if you're even not a golfer, but you are around, I'm going to scroll down because there is an event that's going on that's open. It's the Bitcoin kickoff party. So this is the party. It's going on that Monday. And so you can come and they're going to have music. The entry, your ticket gets your food and drink. There's going to be Bitcoin industry experts there. Really cool way to network. That's another one to call out. Worth, even if you're not a golfer, go check it out. Really cool thing. I'll be there. It'll be a good time. Here's a link to the tickets. You can see food and drink, all that stuff's included. In here real quick, I'll just put it up there. So here's the brand, the HODL 21. So this is going to be stuff that we're going to have there. Ball markers, right? And this is just on Amazon. You can find all that stuff. We got the Bitcoin ball markers. We got the hat clips, right? We got divot tools. We got golf head covers, towels, all sorts of golf gear, right? And you could also go to our website. Here's a list of the Bitcoin stuff. These cool ball stamps, people love those. So there you go. That gives you an idea of what to expect. I gotta represent where I can. I keep that to a minimum, so you're welcome. All right, let's get back to the main agenda. So here's what I'm going to do. So Bitcoin conference is coming up. Tons of awesome resources. There's events going on, the pre-events on that Monday. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over, and I'm actually going to show you the sessions that caught my attention. Now, here's the thing. Technically, there's an industry day on that Tuesday, the 27th. I didn't purchase that one. The topics weren't quite of interest to me because these are more like industry stuff. So I didn't sign up for that one, but I will be at the other day. So to get this started, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to focus in on the topics that caught my interest, but all of these are visible on the website, right? So this is for May 28th. This is that, what would that be? That Wednesday, and then we'll look at Thursday. So the kickoff, JD Vance, I think it's interesting to hear what the Vice President of the United States has to say. That's going to let us know further indication of how bullish this administration is. Probably worth checking out, right? Independent of your thoughts on anything political, you got to stay up to date on this stuff, right? Because whoever's in office is driving the ship on this thing. So check it out. All right. This one caught my eye here. And this one wasn't so much. Oh, I just erased it. How do I do that? Get it back. Anyway, here, I'll show you what you can actually do. You can go to schedule. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So we're going to switch this. View, here you go. View full event schedule. I'll add it back in there. What this one was is Ben Cohen. So this is what I'm talking about. These are people that might be worth you checking out, because this one, to be honest, how institutional adoption impacts on-chain data, to be honest, didn't really catch my attention that much, but the speakers did. Ben Cohen is somebody I watch on a regular basis. So the top two guys I like watching the most when it comes to technical analysis is Ben Cohen. Intriguing guy, entertaining. He's got a good outlook on things. The other guy is Jason Pizzino. I didn't see him on the list. I don't think he's there. Jason's awesome. I try to watch his videos daily if I can. Again, he does a lot of technical analysis. He looks at big macro trends like the 18.6 year real estate cycle, because I've got involvement in real estate. And so he's really good. Ben Cohen, literally when I saw his name, I'm like, all right, let's sign this up. So let's do that. And then Matt Crosby, He's with Bitcoin Magazine, and they do some good videos as well. They really do. And so these are individuals I just follow anyway. And so I was like, let's go check those out, right? So if you're not familiar with those guys, I would jump on that and explore that. So here's the thing. Here's the full agenda. You can see some of the topics there. I'm just going to double click into the ones that I'm going to check out. This one caught my attention because of the FIRE movement. I'm not overly familiar with the individuals on this committee or this panel. Here's the thing. I grew up reading Mr. Money Mustache over a decade ago, and I followed that path and minimalist, all that kind of stuff. The FIRE movement is one of the things that got me on this path, and ultimately, I mean, I guess you could say led me to Bitcoin because it was a personal finance and trying to find freedom and autonomy. Brought it around. So this one will be interesting. What the FIRE movement gets wrong about Bitcoin. I'm curious. I think what they're going to talk about is that Bitcoin is not a cash flowing asset. And so people in the FIRE movement might move away from that because they don't have traditional income. So they're more focused on recurring cash flow. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I think that's what they might hit on because what is the only thing, in my opinion, that's a knock against Bitcoin versus other assets is the cash flow. And guess what? There's new products coming out to the market that are going to allow you to do that. MSTY, Stripe, Strike. Those are income generating solutions that are backed by Bitcoin. So there you go. I'm going to check that one out. I think that'll be really cool. Because some of these are lifestyle stuff, right? So let's click into this, maximize. So this one, I've got these doubled up. Maximizing your Bitcoin gains with tax advantage strategies. Well, yeah, pay little as much taxes as possible is the goal, right? So if they have ways to do that, following the tax rules, that'd be cool. What I'm really probably going to do is I'm probably going to go see Arthur Hayes, though, to be honest. Well, Arthur Hayes is he's a really sharp guy. I like whenever he speaks, and I've just been impressed with his outlook and prediction. So I'm gonna go give that a shot. I think that'll be a good one to check out. He's a good guy to follow as well. He puts some stuff out there. All right, mastering treasury management. 1 year after the halving. Let's click into these. See what caught my eye on these. This one, I mean, to be honest, the two during the session didn't really jump out to me too much. The big day is the second day that is just jammed up with ones I really want to check out. All right, let's check this one out. Retail Bitcoin investors in the front running of Wall Street. I think this will be a fun one just because, I mean, I'm a retail guy. I think a lot of the people watching this are. Wall Street recently got in 2024 when they launched the ETFs. So if you were investing prior to that, you were front running them. And based on the adoption levels, yeah, there's a tremendous amount of adoption that has occurred recently, but we're still so early. You can still front run Wall Street, okay? So I think that'll be an interesting one. 1 year after the halving, diversifying the infrastructure of Bitcoin. This is, yeah, there you go. This one, and double click that. Yes. All right, so here's this one. Is going to be interesting. Announcing a quantum-safe Bitcoin proof of work roll-up. Everybody, one of the things that people say is a big concern is when quantum computing comes and they can crack just about any cryptography. That's going to be a major concern, right? Now, before that, obviously, your password for your bank account is much less safe than SHA-256. So by that standpoint, all your money, everybody's money will be drained from their bank accounts before they ever hit your Bitcoin, and that is a whole different topic. But this is something that's future looking that I think is good to keep front of mind as a potential threat. And I kind of want to hear what people are doing to solve for that. All right, tailoring your business for Bitcoiners. I've got a business, right? I got the golf brand. So this is more for my personal interest. So there you go. But it's cool that they got a stage for that, right? All right, Bitcoin Made in America. This one's with Eric Trump, right? So in Donald Trump Jr. So gonna check that one out. Again, they're connected to Donald Trump, and he's making a big moves in Bitcoin. So let's hear what those guys have to say. All right, next one. the future. So this one I just threw on there. Add him back. Want to hear him speak. But really, I'm probably going to go to this one, to be honest. Building tools for merchant adoption. Again, this comes back to I've got a business. I need to be able to accept payments in sats. So that's more for Pat. Merging operations with Bitcoin. Again, this one's for Pat. You're going to get the ones tomorrow are going to be for everybody. This one is how do I combine Bitcoin and real estate? I've got both. How do I do it? That one's going to be real interesting. Okay. For me. All right. I didn't even pick one during this session. So there you go. Did I? All right. The institution of Bitcoin. Do we got anybody? Okay. So this one caught my eye because I add him back. Again, one of the original developers of Bitcoin. Bit bonds. I'm interested in what they're going to talk about when it comes to, because again, when you can create, so people get into bonds because it's fixed income, right? And people don't have, who are retired or don't work or whatever, they're looking for that fixed income. Well, Bitcoin historically hasn't solved for that, and they're going to start bringing these out. By doing that, this is going to drive adoption up dramatically. Want to keep a pulse on that, right? Seeding startups, again, this one has to do with Pat because I got a startup company, so I want to hear what other people are doing. This one would be a fun one. I've never seen Peter Schiff speak in person. I've watched a lot of his debates online. I think the guy believes in Bitcoin, but he built a career on being a gold bug, and he literally is going to just tarnish his reputation if he backs it. And I think he's just a troll at this point. He's literally one of the biggest trolls out there. And I don't even think he believes in what he's saying. I think he's just backed into a corner, and he's got to say what he said for all these years. Otherwise, his business kind of hits the dumps. There you go. All right, so that's the 28th. The 29th is a big hitter day. And as we go through this, there's going to be a lot of sessions I think are going to be interesting to everybody. And in addition to that, I think you're going to be able to find some names in here. Maybe you're already familiar with them. If you're not, there are a lot of really great names that are worth checking out. This one, Hester Pierce. She is U.S. Secretary of the SEC. Might be a good idea to hear what the SEC says about Bitcoin, because you knew they were the biggest detractors and goons when it came to debanking any crypto companies in the United States. Dude, Gensler just had it out, right? And I want to see if that language is shifted. This one's cool. I mean, I love being focused on lifestyle design, right? I love freedom. I love autonomy. And the whole goal is to do what you want, when you want, where you want, with who you want. This one, I might even just go to this one over the other one, because this is, I think, what a lot of people are looking for. And I don't think there's a lot of topics on this, is how do you create the health and the wealth and the lifestyle that you want and are striving for. The goal isn't to work forever. The goal is to have enough income to pursue the activities that you enjoy the most, or have enough net assets to do that. And I think these guys are going to hit on that topic. And that's ultimately what led me to Bitcoin. Is I was looking for financial freedom, right? And I saw that as the most outsized risk-reward ratio I've ever seen in my life. And I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, because guess what? Gold was the last introduction of a hard asset over 2,000 years ago. If this happens once every few thousand years, and I'm within the window with the age and the means to invest in Bitcoin, what are the odds of that just lines up? You gotta pounce on that. I mean, this is our lineage or kids or lineage or family. They're not gonna have these opportunities. Bitcoin's gonna be well over $1 million, right? So stack them while you can. All right, Tether and Cantor Fireside. This one, I just did a presentation. I did a video on 21 Capital. I think this is going to be a 21 Capital pitch, to be honest. Because what you have is you have Tether. And Paolo is awesome. Just his demeanor is just really great. And then you got Cantor Fitzgerald. So those two organizations are working in conjunction with SoftBank alongside Strike with Jack Mallers to create 21 Capital. So you've got half of the founding crew or companies there, Tether and Cantor Fitzgerald. I think they're going to be pitching 21 Capital, and I'm really intrigued by what what that offering is going to look like. So I'm going to check that one out. All right, let's move on here. Do I got anything? Breakdown how institutions get their Bitcoin. This title didn't catch my attention at all. I like the yield idea. Jeff Park, follow this dude on X. He's awesome. Dylan LeClaire, another absolute rock star. Director of Bitcoin strategy for Metaplanet, the number one top performing stock in the world last year was Metaplanet because they're doing the MicroStrategy strategy, that approach, and absolutely killing it. So I'm going to go listen to Jeff. I'm going to go listen to Dill. I don't know Sharish, but I'm sure if he's up there with those guys, he's going to be great as well. All right. So I would check those guys out. I would follow those guys just in general. All right. How the sovereign individual thesis plays out. I don't know these people, but I think the whole goal is to be sovereign and control your own assets and control your time and your life, and they will check that one out as well. We're rolling through this. All right, raising future Bitcoiners. Yeah, I got a family. I got kids. I want to find out how to subtly orange pill them, right? I don't want to be in their face about it, but I think it'd be fun to hear how other people are taking that approach with their family. So I'm going to check that one out. That one's for Pat. Is Panama the next El Salvador? This whole one, Max and Stacy are awesome. I just want to hear them speak. So I'm going to go check them out. If you don't know Max Kaiser, check him out. Dude is just all personality, a lot of conviction, just an entertaining guy. Really great outlook on life. So that'll be a fun one. I believe, he lives in El Salvador and he's living that Bitcoin life. So good for him. All right. What we got next? Will Bitcoin adoption end fiat once and for all? So there's this. I really like Lawrence Leopard. He can be a little bullish. I mean, it's a weird thing to say as a Bitcoin guy, but like he can be a little overly bullish in my opinion sometimes. But who doesn't like optimism? So I'm gonna go check him out. I think that'll be really good. Rajat. I don't know. I should only say nice things. He's really trying to drive engagement on X, and I think some of this stuff is. I'm just gonna be transparent with you. I think his stuff is fluff. I think he's literally just trying to like build an income stream on X. And yes, he's a good Bitcoin guy. He's got some good things to say, but he's playing the algorithm a little too much for my liking. So there you go. But he does have good things to say. But it's filled with a lot of just engagement, trolling, so to speak. This one I think will be good because you know what? Bitcoin adoption and fiat once and for all. It's lining up. I don't know the timing on that, but given that every single fiat currency has been debased to zero, given a long enough time horizon, there you go. Could happen. Could happen sooner than we know. All right. What do we do about quantum vulnerable coins? Jameson Lopp, super bright guy, super technical. He might lose me, to be honest, because he gets really technical, but really sharp. I listen to some of his stuff. The Bitcoin paradigm shift. I had a few of these here. This one comes back to like that impacts on productivity, quality of life, society. I might check this one out just because, again, I really like. I don't think there's enough talk about the impact to lifestyle that Bitcoin can have. I've seen it, but I think I'm fascinated by that. So I'm probably gonna check that one out. And then the Global MicroStrategy Playbook. Obviously, big MSTR fan. So I got 3 of them that are gonna be vying for my attention on that one. I'm probably gonna lean towards this one, but who knows? Okay. Well, here's why. Okay, so MST, the market. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so this covers the MSTR stuff. By the way, go out there, Jeff Walton, Punter Jeff. This dude is. I love these young guys who are just wise beyond their age. Jeff is absolutely one of these guys. He was a reinsurance broker, and he just quit corporate world. Good for him. I did that 16 months ago. He just did it, so it's really cool to see guys take that leap. And he's doing Bitcoin full time. True North, I believe, is the name of their thing. Ben Workman, really intelligent. Like, this dude says some of the brightest things I've ever heard in my life. And he's quiet, he's reserved, but when he speaks, like it holds power and weight. So he's worth following. He's worth checking out that True North podcast as well, or just following him in general. He's with Swan Bitcoin, great Bitcoin only resource there. I don't know I don't know the moderator, and I don't know Richard Byworth, but again, I'm sure they're going to be rock stars. Richard might be with True North. I don't think so, but I know there's 3 guys. Maybe he's a third. All right. GameStop. I'm just fascinated by the meme side. So, okay, to be honest, what got me into Bitcoin, I started looking at it in 2017. Didn't pull the trigger. What brought me back to it was actually GameStop and Bitcoin blowing up. And I said, I can't sit on the sidelines. I have to self-educate. I got to figure these out. I actually started with GameStop. And I studied the short squeeze. I studied all that. And I came to the realization that this is highly dependent on timing. It is a very unique situation driven by Reddit, right? Roaring Kitty, is that what it is? And I realized it was a one-off thing, and I don't think it was going to be overly scalable or replicable. So I kind of backed off that, but I studied that whole model, if you can call it a model. And so I'm fascinated. And then ultimately I looked at Bitcoin. I'm like, dude, this is just a simple, like, kind of play. Let's go do that. And then I got heavily into that after that moment. So I think GameStop's entertaining. They're sitting on a ton of cash. They've already said they're going to be buying Bitcoin. I think that's just going to be a fun, entertaining one, and something that will really piss people off when they do well, because the whole GameStop thing pissed a lot of traditional finance off, the TradFi guys. And then when you go ahead and you say this is a meme stock, this company's garbage, and that's what they're saying, and then they buy all this Bitcoin and then they become extremely successful because of Bitcoin, it's going to really drive people up the wall. And I like that. I like messing with the system. I think that'll be really fun. All right, Lynn Alden, she's great. She's written a lot of books. Fantastic. You should follow her. You should listen to her. She's worth checking out no matter what. Nothing stops this train. There you go. I agree with you, Lynn. I threw this Grant Cardone one in there. Grant's entertaining to me. I mean, because I'm in real estate as well. He's just like one of the greatest marketers there is. Is he the greatest real estate guy? I don't know. But when it comes to just being a marketer, that's what he is. He's a great marketer. He's entertaining. I am going to check Lynn's out. But there you go. Just showing that Grant Cardone's going to be there. Jack Mahler's really, this is probably, Jack and Michael Saylor are probably the 2 I'm most excited about, to be honest, out of all of them. Again, I think Jack is one of the brightest, sharpest minds, and just a good, like, chill personality, and a highly engaging speaker in this just truly authentic way that I don't think comes through as much as I think we should see more authenticity out there. And so Jack, always great things to say. Excited for what he's going to talk about. I'm going to check that one out for sure. Corporate Treasury. I like this one. Why companies aren't worried about Bitcoin volatility. This is fascinating title because so many people are worried about volatility. What actually is the risk, and I heard this recently, is that risk, the definition of risk is actually the permanent loss of capital. It is not volatility. People associate volatility with risk. Volatility can be to the downside and it can be to the upside, okay? Right? Like anything. And it can be volatile, but if your end result is crazy volatility that keeps going up, that's in your best interest if you know how to hodl. Just hold. Permanent loss of capital is truly risk. I don't believe with the amount of adoption that is going on, we will see permanent loss of capital. Again, this is educational, not financial advice. There's a big difference there between permanent loss of capital and volatility. I think they're going to hit on that. What caught my eye wasn't so much the title, but Eric Semler Scientific. One of the biggest Bitcoin holders out there, his company, he took the MicroStrategy approach. Really interesting. So I want to hear what he has to say on this topic. Saylor, obviously, just want to see Saylor speak because the dude's one of the greatest speakers ever and one of the greatest educators. And really, this dude he's a savant at analogies. That's what I say. That's how Michael Saylor communicates. And analogies simplify difficult topics to understand, and he's one of the best at it. So it'll be fun to hear him speak. The keynote speaker, and again, I think this is one of the last, or one of the first big stages he's been on since he has been pardoned and freed. So it'll be interesting to get his take on all that's happened, because a lot happened since he was in prison there. So there you go. That is the list. Again, I'm going to pull this over here. You can go ahead and you can check out a lot of these resources directly on the Bitcoin conference website. I believe that they will be putting out videos and airing those. I don't know the full details. I don't know how you can get access to that quite yet. So there you go. That's my outlook. Those are some of the sessions I'll be attending, and you got some good insights into people that you should follow because they're tremendous resources. I'll be there. Reach out if you want to connect. Check out that Bitcoin conference. The Sports Network golf outing. I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and they got that kickoff party afterwards. So there you go. And give a like. I'll put all of the links to my website. I'll put a link to all these different websites as well, so you guys can go and check these things out directly. It's going to be really exciting next week, and then I'll put a video out on how my experience has been, and we'll keep everybody updated. Keep stacking those sats. Stay sovereign. Like and subscribe below. Catch you later.